All right, folks. Well, it's just me for right now. Trace might be joining us here in a minute. He is driving back from a tournament. So looks like I can't see your comments in here. So that's great. Hang with me. Had to do some last minute adjustments. Well, like the stream, folks. This is certainly a desperate time that we need it. Duvall's good. He is a hell of a pitcher, that's for sure. Run it, run out, run out. Attaboy, Andy. Attaboy. There we go. There we go. JB Trace will hopefully be here soon. I got a text. He was 17.5 miles away at 11:49. So we should be coming in hot. Hopefully Trace is walking into a walk-off win. That would be nice. You're stuck with just me until then. All right, Joey. That was a good cut. Looks like I'm not that far behind on game day. Yeah, strike behind. I better kind of look away so you can get some real wholesome reactions here. Dreamweaver night. It's an experience, huh, folks? All right, come on, Joey. Pretty cool to hear those Joey chants at 11:58 p.m. Still raining through the ballpark. It's pretty cool. Good take, good take, good take. Do you send India here? Do you send him? Otto's been striking out a lot. The catcher behind the plate is elite at throwing runners out. Walked him. Let's go. Let's go. That was a hell of an at bat from Joey Votto. Wow. It's one of the best pitchers in the sport. All right, Spencer. Man, put one in the gap. Need likes. Streamweaver magic. Need some likes. $101. Painted. Outside corner. Oh. There you go. Good take. He's struggling a little bit with his command. I mean, I guess when you try to get 2 saves in one day, might be a little bit shaky. It's tough, folks. That's tough.
High fly, left center field, racing back to the Laurel Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Line to right field. Did the first run ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Trey Bruce.
All right, Trace.
Nick, I'm a sad man. I'm down bad, brother.
That was
I
a
don't
tough
even-
one.
I don't. I didn't get to watch all of it, so I'm gonna put that qualifier out there from the very get-go. But what I did watch, it wasn't good. There wasn't
tough.
a whole lot of good. I mean, I kind of need you to help me fill in some of the holes that I probably missed, which is a decent portion of the game. I didn't really get to see much until kind of the later innings. I did get a chance to see Ellie make a little bit of a bad decision with the whole McLean double play ball, but otherwise, wasn't very good bullpen, which the scary part, Nick, feels like, I don't know, we were due for this. It felt like not losing this way, but it feels like we got this bad combination of everything going the wrong way at the wrong time.
Why don't we do this, Trace? Why don't we do a box score recap of the suspended game? Talk about the suspended game. You got to catch the end of that, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I got to see that.
And then we'll do a box score recap of the second game. We'll talk through that a little bit and then see where the night takes us. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
All right. I don't feel like editing the podcast at 12:30, so I'm going to make this sound beautiful for the podcast right here. What's going on? Welcome to Chatterbox Reds. We're going to talk about the first game of the sort of doubleheader. Reds fall 4-2 to the Giants, the suspended game from last night. The game was tied 2-2. If you remember, last night we were rained out in the top of the 8th. Giants had runners on second and third with no outs. Earlier in that game, Brandon Williamson threw 6 innings of 2-run ball. Indy and McLean hit solo home runs. And then we resumed at 5:40 on Tuesday. Lucas Sims started off the resumed game. He struck out 2 batters to get out of the jam, including the first batter, Lamont Wade Jr., who really is one of the best hitters in baseball against right-hand pitching. Really incredible performance by Lucas Sims in a really, really difficult spot. Reds went quietly in the bottom of the 8th, Alexis Diaz did go 1-2-3 in the top of the ninth. Velocity was a little bit down, but got the job done. Bottom of the ninth, the play a lot of people maybe talked about, might have forgotten about at this point. Ellie had a leadoff walk, stole second base, but then he got picked off with no one out. Reds went quietly after that, and then Ian Jabot gave up only one hit, but it was a double. Then he gave up a fielder's choice. 2 runs scored. Reds down 4-2. Reds go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 10th. Reds lose the first game 4-2. Trace, what was your thoughts kind of on this first game? And I mean, obviously, I think probably everyone wants to talk about the Ellie De La Cruz situation.
Yeah, I seen the Ellie mistake. It's really tough. It's really tough to be overly critical about Ellie because of how talented he is. And there's times where you feel like, was it a bad baseball play? Yes, it was a bad baseball play. But in the moment, it's kind of like the fortune favors the bold type thing with Ellie, and it feels like, yeah, he stole second base, and no one else in planet Earth playing baseball, at least, is going to be safe on that throw and tag by them. So it's like, okay, you kind of cheated your way to get the second just based off of his athleticism. So my heart wants to give him a break a little bit, I guess, is where I'm going with this. But it was a bad baseball play. I tweeted something out that I thought about it a little more and more. You just can't. You can't make the first out at second and or third base in that situation. Friedel's going to bunt him over. So outside of giving Friedel a chance to drive you in, I guess you didn't need to do that, or you didn't need to be aggressive. So that's kind of that's painting the picture around it. I guess I'm a little bit of a sucker when it comes to getting on Ellie because I know how talented he is. And if he would have stole third right there, we'd have just been like, oh, well, that's Ellie being Ellie. And the guy stole first, second, not first, but stole second, third, and home on 2 pitches. So it's like you kind of have this weird notion that he's always going to be able to get there. And I don't know. That's just kind of where my mind's at. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, first we got to recognize it was a incredible plate appearance to draw that walk, laid off some really, really tough pitches. He's been scuffling a little bit at the plate, so he had a really great job to get on base. Then he stole second base against a catcher that I know Dave Fleming, Giants TV broadcast on with Thom, talked about how this guy is absolutely one of the most elite catches in the game, stole second base off him, and didn't even really get a good jump. It was just his speed is incredible. But yeah, I mean, look,
right.
You can't make that out there with Friedel. I mean, Friedel can bunt you over. You could force the defense to do something stupid. You can't do that. But when you have rookies, you're going to get some of the absolute great, and you're going to get some of this. This is kind of the nature of it. I feel like we've dodged a lot of it, Trace, maybe a little more than we should have, if we're being fair up to this point. And it feels like right now it's kind of all snowballed here over the last 6 games.
It's remember when I was saying how you overachieve and how you're able to find ways to win 1-run games, and when the offense struggles, the pitching picks you up. Well, the way that you underachieve is that, when the offense struggles, the pitching does great, but they don't do great enough to win, and you just kind of keep barely losing these games one way or another. You score 10 runs, you lose 11-10. You don't score any runs, you lose 1-0. It's just that's the way it goes. However, good teams find ways to win. They always do. And we're going to find out whether this is a good team or not. And I have to remind everybody that might be concerned or overly concerned, at least we get to find out who they are. I mean, it sucks. It sucks because, man, did they have us believing that they were going to be a team that might run away, or not run away with the division's a strong word, but let's all be honest with ourselves. At the All-Star break, we thought to ourselves we had a team that was not going to probably sputter like they're sputtering right now. But they're sputtering, and I look around and I just wonder who's going to make, this is where having that frontline starter kind of hurts, Nick. I was thinking of that on the way in. I was like, You're not turning over to give the ball to Kurt Schilling or Randy Johnson or someone that you're just like, you know what, though, when we give the ball to that guy, we're probably going to win. We just don't have that guy right now. And starting pitching's not really been the problem. I'm not trying to overreact here, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, it just feels like
we don't have that for like tomorrow, more so than what's happened in the past.
Correct. It's not like I look around the corner and I think to myself, okay, even if things don't go right tomorrow, Thursday or whatever day, we're going to be back on track. You look down the line and you're like, okay, every day is you got a chance to win, but you also got a chance to lose. And I know that's obvious every single day, but hopefully you get the point I'm trying to make. And I think we're in a position now where this is more mental, in my opinion, than the reality. It's starting to snowball. Just like winning is contagious, so is losing. Hopefully, we've talked about it a billion times on the show, we can break the streak, and we can find a way to just get back on track. And unfortunately, this streak has gone on a little too long because, yes, we won one game out there and in Milwaukee, but you take that away, and this is a pretty tough stretch of baseball. And it's been pretty bad, Nick, in a multitude of ways, right? We've beat ourselves mentally. I think we've beat ourselves a couple different times. And then, we just can't find a way to make the play that gets us over the hump. So I don't know where you're at. I was actually hoping to jump on this stream, one, not be super negative, and two, hopefully you could do some voodoo magic and make me feel better, because I just feel like a lost puppy right now, man.
Well, look, when you win 12 in a row, how many things just went right? You had the Ricky Karcher game. You had some just unbelievable games that you won. And then when you lose 6 in a row, there's just so many things that go wrong. And it's some of it's just baseball for you. Final thoughts here on the suspended game before I run through. I condensed it as much as I could in the 11-10 game. I think Lucas Sims, he kind of been struggling a little bit. Really great to see him come out, and that was an incredible performance from him. Made some incredible pitches.
Right.
Any concern with Diaz's velocity? I know that he's looked tired.
I know.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things I want to see him again.
Well, the All-Star break, and I'm not trying to say he shouldn't have pitched and done that. Listen, I'm not that guy. Let it go live your life. Enjoy your moment. I'm not here to say that he should have sat out or nothing like that. But I guess of all of the guys on this team that felt like they could have used a break or maybe like a little vacation per se, Diaz is at the top of the list, if not the very top.
Yeah.
And he didn't get a chance to rest and say whatever you want, but he had to throw one inning, and not only did he throw an inning, but he also had to be out there for the festivities, and that there's a little bit of a mental toll that comes with that. I don't care what anyone says. But outside of that, the biggest disappointment, Nick, for me, and this isn't so much on it does pertain to the first game here, is the mental mistakes that this team has been making is a little bit alarming. And it's not just been like one guy, it's whether it's Friedel throwing the ball from the warning track the other night, whether it's Ellie, and you could say it's a physical mistake, but whether it's Ellie not taking the bag there for possibly a double play, and he tries to flip the ball to McLean right in front of him, like that's just a bad play. To throwing back-to-back, and I know we're going to get into the next game, but so I'll stop here. But throwing back-to-back sliders and counts that are just ridiculous. We'll get into that. So I don't want to go too far down the beaten path here, Nick. But yeah, it's just been more frustrating because of that than anything.
Yeah. All right. Let's run through game 2. I'm assuming probably a lot of people in podcast form that weren't able to finish this one, as a lot of people I know have to work early. We'll talk about Chatterbox Reds night. We're going to talk about something real positive. We'll talk about that at the end. I ran into an awesome guy. Said he starts at 4:00 in the morning, his work day, and listens to the podcast. So I'm sure he wasn't able to stay up. So let's try to give that guy a recap. But here we go. Game 2, top of the first. Wilmer Flores hit a solo home run off Luke Weaver. But in the bottom of the first, Jake Fraley, 2-run home run off former Red Anthony DeSclafani, put the Reds up 2-1. Then the bottom of the second, things were really looking good. Will Benson hit a 2-run home run. That made it 4-1 Reds. But in the top of the third, Luke Weaver put 2 runners on base. He bounced back. He struck out really the Giants' probably two best hitters, Lamont Wade Jr. and Jock Peterson. But then he gave up another home run to Wilmer Flores, a 3-run home run just over the center field fence. That tied the game up at 4, and then it got worse. I don't care what anyone says. It got worse. The next batter, Michael Conforto, ripped a single right back at Weaver, hit him hard on his non-throwing elbow. It swelled up quickly, and his day was over, and that proved to be large because I really think Weaver probably could have maybe gave the Reds a little bit better of a chance, but we'll talk about that more in a second. Bottom of the third, Anthony DeSclafani's day was done. He was just coming back off an injury, so wasn't necessarily as much about the Reds putting up a 4 spot, but he was on a limited pitch count anyways. Reds got a gift run as the Reds tried to double steal with Friedel and Fraley running. New pitcher Chaminade botched the throw to third base. That made it 5-4 Reds. Top of the 5th, Reds got 3 runs, the Giants got 3 runs against Derek Law. That made it 7-5. Bottom of the 5th, thought this was going to be the great moment of the game, and this would be what we'd be spending the whole show talking about. David Bell went to pinch hit for Jake Fraley, who had already homered the game with Christian Encarncaion-Strand, and Christian Encarncaion-Strand made his first big league hit count, a 3-run home run, 425 feet into the bleachers. That made it 8-7 Reds. For the top of the 6th, Giants, they were tied it at 8. They got a run off of the combo of Duarte and Farmer. Top of the 7th, Giants got 3 runs off Tony Santillan. That made it 11-8. Bottom of the 7th, Joey Votto hit a 2-run home run, number 350 of his career, to cut it to 11-10. Jonathan India hit into a double play the batter prior, or would have made it a tie game. Hard to say. Things could change, but nonetheless, it did loom large. Top of the 8th, TJ Friedel, he made an unbelievable catch, crashing into the wall to save Santillan from giving up 2 more runs. Game stayed 11-10. Reds got 2 runners on base in the bottom of the 9th, but Spencer Steer hit a sharply hit ball for a double play to end the game. Reds have lost 6 straight, now 50-46. Thankfully, very thankfully, tonight the Brewers did lose. So the Reds are still only 2.5 back, 3 back in the wild card race. That's where we're at, Trace.
Yeah. It's a rut, man. It's a rut. And it's just I don't know what it's going to take to get out of this, because it feels like obviously the offense got back on track, but is there really one guy that we're going to point to that we feel confident in that's going to go out and have us a good start? I hope it's soon, but you just don't know. So let's jump into something that I'm curious about. One thing that always feels like when things aren't going right, you don't capitalize on momentum. And I don't want to jump back into the first game, but I want to bring up one point from first game and then point out something in the second game. So you have a situation in the first game where Lucas Sims comes into the game, and he's basically coming to a brutal situation. Second and third, you're sitting on this all day long. You probably knew beforehand you were going to be the guy going in, so you knew what the spot was. Strikes 2 guys out, and then the next inning there's just no threat at all. It's just 1, 2, 3, and it's like, okay, well then the momentum's gone now. And then obviously in the second game, you get a big home run by CES, and then you give it right back. You get, and I'm not trying to kill. I'm really, I don't mean to do this, but like you get 2 hits in a row, you hit into a double play, you hit a home run, I think was it Steer after that gets a hit. You legitimately get 4 hits out of 5. 5 guys come to the plate, you get 4 hits, and you're standing around with 2 runs. 1 guy hit a homer. I mean, it's just, it's like whatever can go wrong will go wrong right now. And I'm trying not to overreact. I'm trying to just take the stupid motto of 1 of 162 and tell myself that this is all going to pass over. But I'm concerned. I guess my main concern is like, how good are we? Is that fair to say? How good are we?
I have no idea, Trace.
Do we just have 3 weeks of just being absolutely ridiculously playing over our head? Did we just play over our head for 3.5 weeks? Just completely over our head. Are we like George Mason in the NCAA tournament? Are we Florida Gulf Coast in the NCAA tournament? Like things are going great. Like, oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, we played Duke. We played Duke in the Final Four. We're gonna compete, and then you lose by 40 because you finally the glass slipper doesn't fit anymore. That's my concern. It's like I don't know how good we are. The beautiful thing is a lot of these young guys are really good baseball players. That I will always hang my hat on.
I'm not sure if we're St. Mary's or Gonzaga, Trace.
That's a great point. Or San Diego State last year.
I mean, both are quality teams, but one's clearly at a different level, right? I mean, I don't know. You want to run through some of the performances tonight? Save Luke Weaver for the end.
Yeah.
Christian Encarncaion-Strand. How about that? I mean, I'm assuming you did get to see a replay of that, right? And I mean, what a absolute dang job. I had another hit. Looked really good at third base. I'm assuming the Reds aren't going to play him aren't going to start him at third base. It's more of a, if you're in a situation like this, hey, we'll put him out there for a couple innings. We're not going to intentionally start him there, but he looked solid at third base. Definitely a spark. I mean, 3 home runs tonight. I mean, after watching those last game of the All-Star, last game before the All-Star break, first 2 game after hitting 3 home runs, that's definitely something.
Yeah, I think one of the big differences between what I was impressed with CES is he's got power. I'm gonna say I knew he had power, but that's one thing he has. The one thing that a lot of guys maybe don't possess is what he did in his, I think it was his final at bat there, where he took a pitch that was on the outside half, and I don't think he really hit it that well for himself, but that's just what you have with 80 grade power is he just drives the ball to right field. It's a base hit. Unfortunately, it didn't really wind up to mattering a whole lot there, but I guess that's where if you want to find solace, if you want to say, hey, that things are going to be okay, Matt McLain's a stud. Straight up. Just a stud. Ellie's concerning a little bit, and I know you said don't take 1 second being concerned about Ellie De La Cruz. I'm not concerned about Ellie De La Cruz when we're talking about next year. And that's really what ultimately will end up mattering, right? Like next year, the year after that, and the next 2 or 3 years, no concerns. If we're trying to say, hey, we're going to compete for the division this year, Ellie's plate discipline just has to get better. I mean, his pitch recognition has to get better. And I think that will come. I mean, listen, that is one of those things where we want to talk about experience. That's where I think experience can and will matter. There are certain glimpses when you watch Ellie that you can just tell, just like the other night during Chatterbox Reds night, where he has stuff that no one else will ever dream of having. The issue is the unfortunate part of being young and not being plate discipline. Ellie's 21, and I know that McLain's still a rookie, but McLain I think is 24, and McLain has played what I would call, I don't know, meaningful baseball, if that's something of a term you'd like to use, but higher level baseball than Ellie's played for a little bit, quite significantly longer. So I don't know, but Spencer Steer is I think the book's still out on Spencer Steer. As much as I like Spencer, I don't know about him, but I think you could feel good about Andrew Abbott and CES. So all the things that we said at the beginning of the year, Nick, that we promised ourselves, let's not forget, we promised ourselves, and I know I'm getting long in the tooth here, but we promised ourselves when we started this show at the beginning of the year that we were going to concern ourselves over what the future holds. We weren't going to get into the weeds of what the wins and losses look like this year. But I think it's fair for us to get into the point where when you're leading a division at the All-Star break, you get into the wins and losses, and that's not a bad thing either. But we also need to have a little perspective. We might not be as good as we thought we were.
Disappointed, not defeated.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I think your point about Ellie, like, yeah, long term there, I think it's really silly to worry about him long term. But the question is he going to have an O'Neal Cruz type rookie season, or is he going to have a Matt McLain type rookie season, right? I mean, O'Neal Cruz last year was still an above average player, but wasn't great. Showed like all the flashes, all the tools, but wasn't able to put it all together in season number 1. That's kind of, I guess, where we're probably at with Ellie. I mean, I still definitely feel like Spencer Steer is a big leaguer. I'm still not concerned about this lineup overall, especially with the fact that there's still Noelvi Marte sitting in AAA that hasn't even made his debut yet.
Right.
There's still other reinforcements that they can add to this lineup. A guy like Reese Hines, I'll talk about him when we run through the minor leagues back. He's playing out of his absolute mind this year. And most years he beat. There's still Stuart Fairchild, Jose Barrero at home run. There's still a lot of other pieces that the Reds could add to this lineup. So I'm not concerned about the lineup. I know it's been a rough week overall outside of the 10-run performance in game 2. But I still think there's enough pieces that they can have a really, really good lineup and a lineup they can build for the future. It's just, is it going to have ups and downs this season? That how low are the lows? I guess that's maybe what I just don't know right now, kind of going forward.
Yeah, I see. I think Alex Wallace in the chat says, "Are we trading Diaz?"
Oh man,
no, man, no.
Oh man.
I mean, he's one of the few guys that you have good team control over. You know who we are going to trade, and we should, is Buck Farmer.
If things went sour.
There's not even I don't believe that. I think it's one of those things where you trade high, man. You trade high. Buck Farmer's high. How much higher is Buck Farmer going to get you? Nick. And this is where I guess you want Toxic Trace for a second. Can we be honest with ourselves, chat? Is this a trust tree? Are we going to win the World Series? Are we going to win the World Series?
For me, I would kind of flip it back on you on this. If we're not going to win the World Series, then we should be trading Alexis Diaz. Like, if that's our mark.
Well, Alexis
Diaz could actually bring back a significant return. Buck Farmer, I mean,
no. Wait a minute. But maybe I'm off on this. Alexis Diaz has team control through 2027.
Yeah, which is why he would actually bring something back.
Okay, but I'm saying in 2025 I can win the whole damn thing. I want him. I mean, Buck Farmer's gone at the end of this year. Listen, let me be clear. I'm not trying to get as many prospects back in return. I'm just suggesting that I'd rather get something back than nothing. You can get. I'll take a lottery ticket. I'll take a split the pot ticket. I'm not trading Alexis Diaz when I have team control through 2027. I think maybe even 28. I'm not sure off the top of my mind, but that's plenty of time. There's no way I'm trading Alexis Diaz. There's no way.
I'm not. Let me start. I wouldn't be trading Alexis Diaz unless I was absolutely blown away, and the Reds are. I feel
their odds are. Say that. What if Alexis Diaz is the best closer in the game in 2026, and we're one of the best teams of baseball, and we traded him away for what? What do we need that we don't have right now? I guess starting pitching.
Starting pitching. I mean,
well, we just drafted 2 guys that you could argue that one of those guys will be healthy. We got 3 guys that are injured right now.
I don't think you could ever have too much starting pitching. I'm not again.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not trading Alexis Diaz.
I know. I'm making a bad spot there by saying that.
I'm making the argument that if we're saying we're not going to trade Buck Farmer because we're not going to win the World Series, then I don't know if we should keep Alexis Diaz. If it's a totally different conversation for me, if the Reds are completely out of it, I think I would definitely be absolutely listening to offers for Alexis Diaz if the Reds were out of it right now. Because I'm a big, and I've said this all along, I'm a big relievers are volatile.
That's what I was going to ask you. Are you banking on the fact that you think Alexis Diaz is I mean, not that he's sputtering lately, but you think that there's a chance that in a couple of years, Alexis Diaz is a middle of the road arm or not a guy that's been.
He's 20. He'll be 27 next year. I mean, he's not. It's not like he's this elite closer coming up that's 23 or 24. I mean, he's a little bit older. It took him a long time to get through. I think Alexis Diaz can absolutely be a good piece, a great piece for the Reds over the next couple of years. But I'm just saying, I would be against listening because if like let's say there was a team. Oh, the Dodgers would probably be the best example, right? Because they're a team that has legitimate, bona fide starting pitching at like the AAA level. Like, yeah, I think you could make an argument that I get a starting pitcher that can help me next year. That could be worth the trade for Alexis Diaz. That's just the only thing I'm kind of looking at with that.
Okay.
But
I mean, I can agree to disagree with you.
But back to
Buck Farmer has to be traded. In no world am I not getting something back for Buck Farmer when he's going to be valued on the market. He's 100% going to be valued by some franchise, and they will overpay for Buck Farmer. That is a fact.
I agree if we were out of it, but if we're still in the race, I think we need to add relievers.
That's and I guess maybe I'm overreacting because of the last week and a half of baseball that I've watched, but in no world do I think that Buck Farmer is going to be the difference between the Reds winning a World Series and not this year.
But he can be the difference between the Reds making the playoffs or not.
I just don't. Maybe people will laugh at the bank. I don't think so. I think that Buck Farmer is a ticking time bomb. You want to talk about volatile, excuse me. That is Buck Farmer to a T. This guy, as the back of his baseball card, he's Scooter Gennett of the Cincinnati Reds right now. He's the prototypical guy that gets hot in Cincinnati. Everybody acts like, oh, Buck Farmer, he's so good. Okay, well, watch him shit the bed come September and October when you need him the most, and tell me that he isn't the back of his baseball card. I'm not trying to kill Buck Farmer but I'm just suggesting that Buck Farmer is playing over his head right now, and we don't have him next year. He's gone. He is literally gone. I'll take back what I can get. There will be somebody that overpays for Buck Farmer. 100% someone will overpay for Buck Farmer. They're going to look at his stats this year, and they've been good, and they're going to say, we need this guy because we want to win the division or whatever they're trying to do, and we'll fleece somebody. We'll see what happens with Crawl. This is going to be a fun deadline. Watch the Reds make no moves, by the way.
It is going to be fun. I mean, the Reds got Case Williams the Reds gave up Case Williams and Noah Davis for Michael Givens. That was maybe like the best like comp that I could think of. I don't really think either one of those guys they weren't names when they were really traded. Case Williams is currently the Rockies' number 21 prospect. I don't know.
We'll see what Nick does. I think Nick's a smart guy. Nick knows what the hell he's doing. He's going to trade Buck Farmer, and I'm going to be all about it.
If it's a great prospect coming back, yeah, I'm all about it. But if it's a player that probably doesn't even like crack the
Listen,
top 30.
I'm going to take the prospect that they'll give back for me for the 2 wins that you think that Buck Farmer's worth the rest of this campaign that we're about to go on. Just telling you, I'll take us. I'll tell you what. If you told me that the Powerball was $5 billion and they were going to buy us $500,000 worth of tickets, I'd send Buck Farmer away for that. Just for the small chance that we might be able to have a huge payroll and hit the Powerball. So
do you not think the Reds should add pitching at the deadline?
You got Alexa speaking to you there.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting that they after what I've seen so far, we'll be lucky. We'll be lucky to be within 5 or 6 games at the deadline. You think the schedule gets any easier this month? I'll tell you what. Do me a favor right now, Nick. I want you to read me the names of the teams that we play for the rest of this month.
I will. But as I'm pulling this up, I think we need to point out that the Brewers are playing a brutal schedule also. That also factors into this. Yeah, look, it's a brutal schedule for the Reds. 2 more against the Giants, 3 at home against the Diamondbacks, who are scuffling a little bit, but still obviously a really good team. Then 3 at the Brewers. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you could head-to-head completely flip the entire
just for the podcast, what dates are the Brewers?
24 through 26, Monday through Wednesday next week.
In the trade deadline is what date?
Then the Reds will play 3 at the Dodgers. They will play 1 game at the Cubs, and then the deadline's the next day.
All right. We'll see if the Brewers will be a make or break situation for this Reds team and whether or not they're going to do something right at the deadline.
All right, but the Brewers, they are playing the Phillies. Betfred Sportsbook, shout out Betfred, has the Phillies minus 190 tomorrow, I know. So heavy favorites of the Phillies. Then they got 3 at home against the Braves and the Reds, and then they are at the Braves for 3. And then they have 1 at the Nationals, and that's the deadline. So they have a brutal schedule too. So it's really, I guess, we might be talking Reds and Brewers might both go like 3-10 or whatever. And they're both not really playing well, but you're at the deadline. They're both kind of there. I think that's possible too.
Yeah,
I would be more worried about the Reds schedule if the Brewers weren't also playing a brutal schedule. I don't think the Brewers team.
Go ahead and say it.
I don't think they're built as well to play a team like the Braves. Because I don't think they can outscore them. And like the Braves lineup is just too good not to score a couple runs off of the Brewers. I think the Brewers probably are slightly better than the Reds, if I'm being completely honest. But I think the Reds have a better chance in the series against the Braves than the Brewers. It's baseball, though. Anything can happen. But
okay. Let me also say this. Just because I'm not screaming, but I'm asking for us to trade Buck Farmer does not mean that I'm saying that we should be 100% sellers at the deadline. I just think you have a guy that is without question. There's no doubt in my mind that will be overvalued at the deadline. He's going to be overvalued. He's had a great year. He's a guy that he's played over his head.
And I want to add more Buck Farmers. I want a whole bullpen of Buck Farmers.
If you think that this Reds team is a Buck Farmer or 2 away from doing anything of significance, then we're just not watching the same thing. And I'm not. I think that's just where we would agree to disagree. And I don't think there's no reason to argue about it. I just would prefer to get something back for something I know that's going to be completely gone in a couple months.
Let's move on because I did not think.
I love that.
This is the thing. Whenever we hit live, I have people are like, someone was asking me at Chatterbox, do you guys have a script? I'm like, yeah, we have a couple of things we kind of follow, but some nights you just started talking about Buck Farmer for 15 minutes for absolutely no reason.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fun. It'll add a little flavor and spice to the deadline. I hope all the Chatterbox Nutcutting Nation that listens and watches Chatterbox Reds will have fun at the deadline. They're going to be dialed in to see what we do. And Buck Farmer will be topic 1 through 5. Jonathan India is not moving, by the way. There's no way.
That last hour of the trade deadline, me and Trace are going to be sweating. They're going to trade him at the eye. Trace will be like, they traded him! I told you, idiot!
Chi-Town Real Estate, by the way, really quickly for the super chat, said, why worry about this year as much? Future is bright, right? Yes. However, when you're in first place, let me paint this picture again. I think we've forgotten how far we've fallen. Okay, not to depress everybody, but we were 2 games up on Milwaukee heading into a 3-game series, All-Star break, 3-game series at home. We could have been, let's count them up together. Ready? 3 games up, 4 games up, 5 games up, 6 games up, 7 games up, 8 games up, 9 games with a tiebreaker. Is that unrealistic? Yes, it is. But you could have been 9 games up on the Brewers after your series. And now we find ourselves 3 back, and we've lost 1.
2.5.
Okay. What about the tiebreaker?
Yeah, it's technically 3.
3.5.
It's
3.5.
No, it'd be 3. You only get a half for the tiebreaker.
Okay. Well, here we go. Ready? We lost. What we do in that same time frame? Let's play this out. We lost. We won. We lost. We lost. We lost. We lost. We lost. We lost. 1-7. That is why I'm a sad old man. Let's keep this thing moving.
Votto, number 350. I mean, 8 home runs already. Just, unbelievable. He looked like he was scuffling a little bit too. And he just it's like Joey comes up. You're like, I don't know what to expect. Has these like 2 monster games. You're like, everyone's like, see, you're an idiot.
I know.
Then he scuffles, and you're like, well, then he does it again. Then he scuffles again.
What about the power? I mean, that I know people that have been Joey Votto stans. I mean, listen, I have been one, but I try to be realistic. Guy's 39, coming off major surgery. I've said that a billion times. The thing that impresses me the most with Joey is just the fact that he decided that he wanted to hit for more power, and by God, the dude just started doing it. It's like it almost makes no sense. It's like he decided, you know what? I see the analytics that are in Major League Baseball, and he's a student of the game. He knows that power, it leads to runs, a little more runs created, than just taking a walk per se. Not that we want to. That's a discussion that we'll never have because it's a dumb one. But he just hit a switch, and now the guy just, not to say he hits a home run, walks, or strikes out, but that's what it feels like.
It's almost like he was able to see into the future of what like he would actually be this year. Because I honestly think if he tried to be 2017 Joey Votto, that was incredibly selective, that did have a lot of power, but was a real like he was. I think if he was really trying to cut down on the strikeouts and make more contact, I don't think he would be able to be as an effective hitter right now at 39 years old. I think what he's doing is how he has to be successful. And it's so insane that he thought that, because I wouldn't have thought that this would be. I would have thought, hey, Joey's still got like a 380 on base percentage, hits a couple doubles here and there, maybe, hits a couple GABP special home runs, but I thought he'd be all on base percentage. It's almost like he was able to predict himself, and that's just one of the most incredible things. And it just,
I'm glad that he's gone. Listen, this is his last year. For those that want to say that his option is going to get picked up are absolutely lunatics and don't know anything about baseball and finances and front office. I mean, I'm just telling you, that's the facts. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful. I'm saying this in the nicest manner as possible. The Cincinnati Reds are not going to pick up Joey Votto's option at all under almost any circumstance. Now, having said that portion, I am so happy to see Joey Votto play up to an ability that makes it where he is supposed to play on a regular basis, and he's going out, I'd like to say, on top. I mean, I get that winning a World Series is theoretically the biggest mountaintop there is, and that's how you can go on top. I'm just thankful he didn't come back. He hit, 105 for 2 months and then decided to not to have a phantom injury, but basically just retire. That would have been kind of just a sour way to go out, and that's not what he's done at all. So I am thankful for that, and it is nice to see what is his final season to be somewhat of a success.
Yeah, absolutely. Luke Weaver, I think that's probably the only topic left.
Yep.
I can't imagine he's going to make his next start, right? Am I wrong? Like,
as soon as I seen that it was his left arm, I jokingly was like, no worries, he'll be back out there. He'll be back out there next start. I don't know. This is where if you're Bob and Phil, I think that you win. Not that you're going to win the fan base over. That's definitely the wrong. Yeah, that isn't happening. But I think you could do yourself a little bit of a service here and go and open the checkbook a little bit. You've made more money this year. Come on, Nick. Let's know. They've made more money this year than they ever expected in a million years. The Gates are just way, way better than they expected. That has to be, not to say they have to spend it, because it's obviously their business. They can do what they want. And I know everyone in the chat's going to say, oh, they're cheap. They're not going to do that. Go get Lance Lynn. Just go open the checkbook up, get Lance Lynn, pay the money. Give this team a little bit of a shot in the arm. Yeah, Lance Lynn's not been great this year, but Lance Lynn's ceiling, Nick, at least for me, his good or great, whatever term you'd like to use, it's still good. Like, it's still good enough. I'm not saying he's going to be consistent, but similar to the way that, having one of these rookies comes up and there's a shot in the arm and maybe it kind of gets everybody going again, giving Lance Lynn a new scenery. And on top of that, giving Lance Lynn an opportunity to come in and give the clubhouse a little bit of a boost and make them feel like, we care, or I say we care, but this front office is trying to win. I think that would actually help out. I'm not trading prospects, though. That's where it stops for me. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, Lance Lynn, it almost feels too perfect. Like there's no way it's going to happen. It's one of those things that feels like the perfect move for the Reds with where they're at.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's another team, though, that might be in the same spot, and you kind of get into a spot where you maybe do have to throw something in. I still think he should be attainable. You should be able to find a way to make that work. So, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just so in the Luke Weaver Kool-Aid. I see something there. He struck out 6 batters tonight. Like, it was just the 2 awful mistake pitches, both to Flores.
Here's where I'm at. I fell into your trap. I fell into the same trap that you were in, dude. I'm telling you, the cheese in the mousetrap. They got a damn good looking mousetrap with Luke Weaver. Okay, it looks nice. I'm gonna warn you, Nick. The problem that I figured out with Luke is this: those mistakes. He doesn't have the ability to make mistakes and it not get hit hard. That's the real problem with Luke Weaver. His good stuff is good enough to be relatively effective and pretty damn good. The problem is if he does miss, he gets hit hard, man. And it's shown through start after start after start. He always has this one blow up inning, and I think it's actually consistent enough to now where you say it's not a fluke. It's just a part of what he is. He has an inning or two where he's not got the command, and when he doesn't have the command, he gets shelled. Here's one last thing I'm going to say about this. I'm sick and tired of people in the chat. Von Beck, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to other people that tell me Lance Lynn sucks. I don't give a rat's ass what his ERA is. I don't care about all that. I know that his ceiling, and I know a short-term amount of baseball, he has a chance to be pretty damn good. He might not be good, but he has a pretty damn good chance to be, or he has a damn good chance of possibly being good. And you know what? You all you gotta do is just pay a little money to get him. That's all you gotta do. If it doesn't work out, go look at Meyer. Okay, we lost some money around here. So be it. But my point is I watched, not to jump around subject to subject, but I watched Lance Lynn throw 8 innings of one-hit baseball against the Toronto Blue Jays. You show me one starter that you can go out and get right now and not give up any prospects, and you tell me if they could throw 8 innings of one-hit baseball against the Toronto Blue Jays. I get he could suck, but I'd rather take the chance of him having a ceiling like he had against the Blue Jays. And anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, last 5 starts, he's got a 4.35 ERA. That's not great, but he's got 47 strikeouts and just 9 walks over his last 5 starts. So I definitely think, that's the move that makes sense for the Reds. You're not trading a really valuable piece like a Chase Petty for the future.
How
But
many
you're
guys said
getting
Sonny Gray sucked?
a lot of them.
Just saying. I mean, sometimes a new scenery helps, Nick.
On Luke Weaver, though, I
Go
think
ahead.
I've seen enough starts out of Luke Weaver. I think I'm with everyone on that. But I do think he at least was worth a shot in the bullpen.
That's fair.
He may not have any success, but I think who would he be replacing? Tony
Buck Farmer?
Santion? Man, he comes back around. He
I'm
comes back
kidding.
around.
That's a joke. That's a joke. That's
But yeah,
humor.
I mean, like Duarte. Obviously, there'll be some people that someone gets injured.
You're
Basically,
gonna get crushed. You're gonna get crushed for saying someone's gonna get injured. I don't. I'm okay. I'm okay with putting Weaver in the bullpen. If anything, Luke Weaver does feel like a guy that comes in a game like tonight where a guy gets hurt in the 4th inning, and Luke Weaver, that's his spot. He goes in there, see how far you can get us, big dog.
Earn that paycheck, highest paid Reds pitcher at 2-point-something million.
I did not get a chance to see Law pitch. I seen that Connor says I'm over Law. There's no way for me to be over Law. What happened?
It's just, I don't know. Give a couple hits.
Did we walk guys or what?
Trace, there was so much that happened in this game. I don't even know if I remember Lance Law. Lance Law. That's how long of this. That's how long today's baseball was. I'm calling him Lance Law. Lance Law really struggled today, fellas.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so he sucked. He just sucked tonight. Fair enough.
Tony Santion looked worse. I know that much.
Okay.
But I don't know. You want to do some Reds minor league?
I think so, Nick.
All right. Reds minor league presented by the world's leading sportsbook, Betfred Sportsbook. All right, I'll try to run through this in relative short order. Louisville lost 5-3 to Columbus. Novi Marte 0 for 3. Jose Barrero, he hit a home run, his 5th. Down with Louisville. Stuart Fairchild 0 for 4. Really rough day for Christian Roa. 2 1/3, walked 4 batters, gave up 5 earned runs. Just continues to struggle with the command. Chattanooga, they lost 9-8 to Birmingham. Lookouts actually gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th. They're now 46-38 on the season. Actually, the wins and losses really mean absolutely nothing for Chattanooga because they already clinched the playoffs. So they're kind of in like this weird second half thing.
Yeah.
Or not really playing for much. But Rhys Hines, he returned to the lineup for the first time since June 30th. He's been out with a left hamstring strain. He was 1 for 3 with a walk. Blake Dunn's incredible minor league season continued. 4 for 5, hit his 12th home run between Dayton and Chattanooga. Triple, stole 2 bases. He's got 37 stolen bases this year. I wonder if he's going to get up to Louisville at some point this year.
I think so.
He's having just an incredible season. Dayton, they lost 9-8. They are now below 500 at 42-43, but a lot of good stuff from the offense with the Dragons tonight. Edwin Arroyo was 2 for 3, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases. He's got now 16 stolen bases on the year. Jay Allen just getting back in the swing of things after missing a lot of time this year with a dislocated thumb. 3 for 5, double. He also stole a base. And then Cade Hunter, he made his Dayton Dragons debut. Reds catcher. I think he was a 5th-round draft pick last year. Already getting promoted. So that's good to see. He was 2 for 4 with a double. Daytona, they lost 7-3. The South Stewart show continued, though. He was 3 for 5. That is your Reds minor league report presented by Betfred Sportsbook. Oh, wrong way.
Who, what, when, where, and why, Nick?
All right. Reds need a win, and they got Graham Ashcraft on the hill tomorrow. 7-10. Game 3 of 4. Still got 2 more against the Giants. Ashcraft has been really good, though, his last couple starts. Last 3 starts, a 1.45 ERA. So hopefully Graham can keep it going. And this is even better, Trace. 2 starts last year against the Giants, 1.26 ERA. Only 2 walks and 9 strikeouts.
Am I overreacting by saying this is a must-win?
I don't know if it's a must-win, but it's a please win.
I feel like it is. I feel
Please
like if they don't win this game, bag it up.
Yeah. We need it. All right. Good news. Ross Stripling has not recorded an out past the 5th inning this season. Most starts for him are around 3 innings pitched. So I think I mentioned this. The Giants, they do, outside of Logan Webb and Alex Cobb, who the Reds will see in the series finale, a lot of their starters, they only try to get them 2 or 3, 4 innings max. And they have like 3 bulk pitchers. Now, they used 2 of their bulk pitchers today, actually. So I don't know. They might have to try to get a little bit more out of Ross Stripling. This hopefully could be a good thing. He's got a 4.63 career ERA against the Reds, but he has not faced the Reds since 2019. Need it.
I pray that guy doesn't throw a pitch past the 5th inning.
Yeah. Hopefully he does, but he's down 10-0. They're just letting him rot.
That's cool. I'd take that. They're not going to, but I'll take it. This is not as low as it gets, but this is pretty low right now, boys. We gotta survive in advance. All right, chat.
India gonna get a day off on Wednesday.
Can we? Let's save this for tomorrow's show. But I really want to start to press you on this whole the lineup doesn't matter at all thing. I gotta be honest. I've let it go. I try not to bring up topics to where Trace and Nick are gonna be funny and bicker back and forth against each other. And one guy has his points, the other guy has his points, and I usually try to be on the same team as Nick. We're gonna have to talk about that tomorrow, especially if the Reds lose. We're gonna have to have. I'm going all in on that. I mean, if I'm gonna tell you right now, take this to the bank. If I see that lineup card come out tomorrow and Jonathan India is hitting anywhere near the 5-hole, I will absolutely blow a gasket. Before I even come on the show, your boy's gonna be revved up. If I see Jonathan India hitting anywhere 7, I'll calm down if he's hitting 7, 8, or 9. Anything higher than 7, 8, or 9, me and you are going. Well, not that we're going to go fist fighting, but by golly, I'll go round for round with you with the old Bill James boy. I'll tell you right now, I am so sick and tired of hearing about Jonathan India. He comes up, leads the. He'll tell you one thing he does. He leads the team in double plays. So good for him.
He has to have tomorrow off. He has to. It has to be his time. I think the only reason he was in the lineup in the second game was because he's coming off his best game in a couple months.
No, that's true. Yeah, Bell definitely had him scratched. Didn't plan on playing him, and of course he goes out and decides he's going to hit. Have the day of his life.
Yeah, I think for sure he's off, but we'll see. Come on, David, give me one.
We'll see. Much love to you. Thank you for dragging me along through this show. I had to do some stuff tonight, and I want to say before we get off here really quickly, thank you for everybody that came out with Chatterbox Reds. That was fun. We'll do it again, probably not this year, obviously, but we'll do it again next year. We'll figure out, maybe we rotate where we go. I really did like the river deck. I don't know, river boat, whatever it's called. I thought it was unique. It was interesting. It felt spacious. It felt like it was kind of easy going. You could kind of walk around. I did like it. I enjoyed it. Next year we'll try to put it on a weekend too, so more people would be able to come. So,
yeah, Riverboat was awesome. It's really, really cool perspective. Nice little breeze going on up there.
Yeah,
it was cool. Yeah, thank you so much to everyone who came out and everyone who said nice things and listens to our stupid show every day. I can't
not
believe
stupid,
you all do.
It's just dumb.
Dumb. I'm sorry. Politically correct. But no, thank you. Seriously. I can't believe so many people do, and you guys are awesome. And girls.
All of them. Everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Nick.
Play the outro.
Play the outro, and by God, I'm trying to be optimistic. We're going to win a damn game tomorrow. We have to.
See you tomorrow, everyone.